So, ladies, I have another devotion/rant for you, and I title this one Gold. I know this is an odd one. I'm not trying to make a commercial or anything like that, but you can see just in the last 6 months, really, gold has gone from roughly a little over $2,000 an ounce to nearly $3,700 an ounce. I mean, that's unbelievable in the space of about 6 months, right? And you have to ask yourself the question, well, why is that? And I think the answer is very clear. It's because regardless of what Trump says, and I voted for the man, we continue to deficit spend at the federal level into oblivion. I mean, we're running roughly $2 trillion deficits every single year. So the federal government spends $2 trillion more, roughly, than it takes in taxes. And then it has to issue all these treasuries to pay for that. Well, the fact is there's no market for $2 trillion worth of U.S. treasuries, or not all of them. And so we print a huge amount of that out of nowhere and buy the treasuries with monopoly money. And that's what's going on. So these huge deficits coupled with monopoly money printing are what, in a general sense, is driving the price of gold up because, central banks across the world, that is, the Federal Reserve equivalent of the EU or China, are looking at this and saying, that in the end, there's not going to be any worth in paper currency because we're destroying it. And of course, other Western countries are doing the same thing, but the United States is really the granddaddy of it all and the leader of it all. People look to us. We're the reserve currency, but probably not too much longer, right? With BRICS and other currencies. And so that's why gold is driving up in price. And so you don't have to listen to what Trump says, just listen to what his administration and the Congress votes to do. And they vote to continue the deficit spending. And so by 2029, when Trump leaves office, if he does indeed last that long, we're likely going to be around $45 trillion in debt. Not the $37 or $38 trillion in debt, which will likely be at the end of this year, but $45 trillion. And so we'll have all the interest payments on that, plus all the other debt, which continues to roll over onto the higher interest rates. And so by 2029, we're likely going to be paying close to $3 trillion a year just in interest on our federal debt. Not the $1.5 trillion or thereabouts that we're paying right now, but about $3 trillion, or maybe even more than that, by 2029 or thereabouts. So that's why gold's going up. Because paper currency is not going to hold its value forever. And I suppose the point I make about all of this is that, the average Joe on the street cannot afford even 1 ounce of gold. At $3,700 an hour, plus the premiums which are going to pay for this nonsense, there's no way anybody can afford any of this. So where do we get our gold? Where do we get the ultimate gold, since we can't afford the physical gold? Well, that's Jesus Christ. I'm serious, and I'm not trying to make this sound corny, but Christ promises to be with us till the very end of time itself and not to forsake us, right? He's with us in the suffering and the pain. He's our hard, tangible asset. He's where we want to go. And the fact that gold is continuing to skyrocket tells you, I think, where as a society we are going and where we're going at breakneck speed. And so if we want to have any semblance of civilization internally, of stability internally, we need to be purchasing spiritually. And I know this sounds corny again, and I'm sorry. The gold, the true gold, that is Christ and His Word. And I'll just leave it at that, as corny as this sounds. God bless you both.